The room is small, but the silence inside it is heavy. Not the peaceful kind. The kind that presses against the chest and makes breathing feel like work. The man sits alone, head bowed, hands clasped so tightly his knuckles ache. Once this room held dreams, plans, laughter. Now it holds unanswered prayers and memories that refuse to sleep. He whispers God's name, not with confidence, but with exhaustion. He has prayed before, many times, and nothing seemed to change. Bills piled up, doors closed, people drifted away. Faith, once loud, now feels like a fragile thread stretched thin by disappointment. Outside, life continues as if nothing is wrong. People walk past his window with purpose in their steps. Somewhere, someone is celebrating. Somewhere else, someone is winning. Here, time feels stuck. And in moments like this, the most dangerous thought creeps in. Maybe God has forgotten me. But heaven is not silent. What feels like absence is often attention unseen. God specializes in entering stories at their weakest point, when strength is gone and pride has no voice. This is where Jesus often begins. Not on stages, not in crowds, but in rooms where hope is barely breathing. The man does not know it yet, but this silence is not the end of his story. It is the pause before divine interruption. Before footsteps approach, before grace steps into a broken chapter and rewrites it from the inside out. Morning breaks, but it brings no relief. The man steps onto a long, dusty road, not because he knows where he's going, but because standing still hurts too much. Each step feels heavy, as if the ground itself resists him. His mind is loud now, replaying failures, broken plans, conversations he wishes he could undo. Questions echo with every footstep. Where did I go wrong? Why did God allow this? As the road stretches ahead, a stranger appears beside him. Calm, unhurried, no judgment in his presence. The stranger does not rush to give answers. He listens, and somehow that listening feels healing already. The man speaks freely, pouring out disappointment, confusion, anger, things he has never dared to say out loud. The stranger walks at his pace, matching every weary step. What the man does not realize is this: Jesus often joins the journey before revealing his identity. He walks with the broken long before they recognize him. He allows questions without offense. He carries doubts without condemnation. On this road, no sermon is preached, yet truth is being planted quietly in the heart. The man feels lighter, though nothing around him has changed. The road is still long, the future still uncertain, but something is different now. He is not walking alone, and sometimes that is the miracle, not the removal of the burden, but the presence that helps you carry it. Unseen by human eyes, heaven marks this moment, a turning point disguised as a simple walk. Grace moving at human speed. Night falls gently, but rest does not come. The world grows quiet, yet the man's thoughts refuse to slow. He sits alone, the glow of a small lamp barely pushing back the darkness. This is the hour when pain speaks loudest, when strength is gone and pretending no longer works. A tear slips down his face, then another. He does not wipe them away. There is no one to impress here, no one to reassure. These tears are raw, unfiltered, heavy with everything he has carried in silence. Regret, fear, the ache of prayers that seem to rise and fall without answer. But heaven is closer than he knows. Jesus watches, not from a distance, not with indifference, but with a heart that understands sorrow intimately. He has seen tears before, in gardens, at graves, over cities. Every tear carries a story, and none of them are ignored. What feels unseen by the world is recorded in eternity. The man whispers a prayer, barely audible, unsure if it will reach heaven. But prayer is not measured by volume, only by honesty. And honesty opens doors the strongest words cannot. In this fragile moment, something sacred happens. The weight begins to shift, not because circumstances change, but because the man is no longer alone in his pain. Jesus draws near to the brokenhearted. He does not rush healing. He sits with sorrow until hope can breathe again. These tears are not weakness. They are seeds. And in time, they will grow into a testimony the man cannot yet imagine. The night holds him for now, but morning is already on its way. Daylight returns, and with it, noise. The streets are alive again. Voices overlapping, footsteps rushing, lives colliding in endless motion. People move with urgency, each person absorbed in their own concerns. In the middle of it all, Jesus walks calmly, unbothered by the chaos around him. The crowd presses close, eager for miracles, answers, spectacle. The man stands at the edge of the road, small in a sea of movement. He does not shout. He does not push forward. He has learned what disappointment feels like and fears hoping too loudly. Still, something rises within him, a quiet desperation stronger than fear. A whisper escapes his lips, fragile but sincere. A cry born from pain, not performance. And then it happens. Jesus stops. The crowd continues moving, unaware that eternity has just paused. Schedules mean nothing now. Noise fades into the background. Jesus turns, his eyes locking onto the one voice others overlooked. This is the nature of divine compassion. It interrupts routine. It disrupts the ordinary. Heaven does not rush past suffering. In that moment, the man realizes something powerful. God is not too busy. Faith does not need volume to be heard. One honest cry outweighs 1,000 empty words. Jesus always stops for faith even when it trembles. The crowd murmurs, confused. Some are annoyed. Others are curious. But none of that matters. What matters is that grace has chosen this moment, this man, this pain. The road will never feel the same again. Because when Jesus stops, lives change direction forever. The crowd grows quiet. Every movement slows, as if the world itself is holding its breath. Jesus steps closer, his presence gentle yet commanding. He looks at the man, not past him, not through him, but directly into the place where pain has lived for years. There is no pity in his eyes, only understanding. Then Jesus speaks. "What do you want me to do for you?" The question feels simple, yet it pierces deeper than expected. The man hesitates. He has lived so long managing disappointment that hope now feels dangerous. To speak desire is to risk being let down again. To answer honestly is to expose a wound that never fully healed. Memories rush in. Prayers unanswered. Promises broken. Moments when believing hurt more than doubting. His voice trembles as he gathers courage. Faith does not roar today. It stutters. But even trembling faith is still faith. He answers. In that moment something shifts. Not in the crowd. Not in the street. But in the unseen realm. Heaven responds not to perfection, but to honesty. Jesus did not ask because he lacked knowledge. He asked because faith must be voiced to be released. This question is not about information. It is an invitation, an opening, a doorway between pain and possibility. Jesus gives the man permission to want again, to hope without shame, to believe without apology. The crowd listens closely now. Some expect drama. Others expect disappointment. But Jesus is doing something deeper than spectacle. He is restoring a man's courage to believe that his story is not finished. And once faith speaks, grace follows. Jesus does not rush. He never does. The space between him and the man feels charged with expectation, yet filled with peace. This is not the kind of moment that needs urgency. Eternity is present, and eternity is never in a hurry. Slowly, Jesus reaches out his hand. The crowd leans forward, breath caught in their throats. Some are uneasy. Others are hopeful. To them, this is spectacle. To the man, this is everything. No one has touched his brokenness in a long time, not without judgment, not without fear. Pain has made him cautious. Disappointment has taught him to brace for nothing. But this touch is different. It is gentle yet firm. Compassion wrapped in authority. In that instant, power flows, not violently, not dramatically, but intentionally. Years of heaviness begin to lift. Shame loosens its grip. What failure had named him, mercy now rewrites. Healing moves deeper than the surface. It reaches the places no one sees. The places where hope died quietly. Jesus does not just restore what was lost. He restores what was believed impossible. Strength returns. Breath feels fuller. The man stands straighter not because he is told to, but because something within him has been made right. This is the nature of divine touch. It does not announce itself loudly. It simply changes everything. The crowd sees the physical transformation, but they miss the greater miracle. A man is being reintroduced to who he was always meant to be. In one moment of contact, the past loosens its hold, and a new chapter begins. One touch, no argument, no explanation, just grace in motion. For a brief moment, no one speaks. The street that once buzzed with noise now feels strangely still, as though creation itself is trying to understand what just happened. Eyes widen. Mouths remain open. The crowd watches as the man takes a step. Steady, unafraid, sure. The same man they overlooked minutes ago now stands before them transformed. Whispers attempt to rise, but disbelief steals their voice. This was not supposed to happen. They remember him as weak, broken, defined by struggle. They had grown comfortable with that version of his story. But God has a way of disrupting labels humans place on one another. The man looks at his hands, then lifts his face toward Jesus. Gratitude overwhelms him, but words feel small. How do you explain mercy? How do you describe the moment your life turns in a direction you thought was closed forever? Some in the crowd feel joy. Others feel discomfort. Miracles have a way of exposing hearts. When Jesus moves, neutrality disappears. You either rejoice or resist. What no one can do is deny. This silence is powerful. It is the sound of doubt losing its grip. The sound of accusations collapsing. The sound of every whispered, "It will never change," being proven wrong. The man does not shout his testimony yet. His presence is testimony enough. Jesus says nothing. He does not need to. Lives changed speak louder than speeches. In the stillness, heaven confirms what earth questioned. Restoration has happened. And everyone standing there knows this moment will follow them long after the crowd disperses. Because when God rewrites a story, even the loudest skeptics fall quiet. The crowd slowly fades into the background, but the man remains standing where grace found him. He takes a breath, deeper than he has in years. The air feels lighter now. The same street stretches ahead, unchanged in appearance, yet entirely different in meaning. This road once felt like a reminder of failure. Now it feels like possibility. He begins to walk, not hurried, not hesitant. Each step carries quiet confidence. His shoulders are no longer bent by shame. His eyes are no longer fixed on the ground. The past still exists, but it no longer defines the direction of his future. Healing has done more than repair what was broken. It has rewritten how he sees himself. Jesus watches him go, knowing something sacred has taken place. Many expect miracles to end with celebration, but Jesus knows the real work begins after the moment passes. Transformation is proven in how you walk once the crowd is gone. The man notices small things he once ignored: the warmth of the sun, the sound of life around him, the strength in his own body. Gratitude rises, not as excitement, but as peace. This is what restoration feels like. Not perfection, not ease, but wholeness. He understands now that healing did not remove the road. It gave him strength to walk it differently. Same path, new heart, same world, renewed vision. This is what happens when Jesus steps into a story. He does not erase the journey. He redeems it. And with every step forward, the man carries proof that change is real. The man does not get far before he senses it. A pull stronger than gratitude, deeper than relief. He turns back. Jesus is still there, watching with a knowing smile, as though this moment was always part of the plan. Miracles are never meant to be endings. They are invitations. Jesus speaks again, his voice steady, unforced. Follow me. 2 simple words, yet heavier than anything spoken before. Healing changed the man's condition. This call challenges his direction. To follow means movement, commitment, surrender. It means leaving behind the safety of what is familiar even if what is familiar once hurt him. Purpose often demands more than comfort. The man hesitates, feeling the weight of the decision. He could return to his old life just improved, or he could step into something unknown, trusting the one who restored him. This is where many miracles stop at gratitude. But Jesus is offering more than recovery. He is offering meaning. The man takes a step toward him. This step is different from the others. It is not about healing anymore. It is about obedience. In choosing to follow, he is saying yes not just to Jesus, but to a future shaped by faith. A life that will not always be easy, but will always be guided. Jesus turns and begins to walk ahead. He does not force the man to follow. He never does. Love never drags. It invites. And as the man falls into step behind him, something settles in his heart. A quiet certainty that this path, though unknown, is the one he was always meant to walk. Healing was the beginning. Calling is the continuation. The man stops for a moment on the path, sunlight brushing over his shoulders. He glances back at the crowd he left behind. Those who doubted, those who feared, those who never imagined change could happen. But he does not linger. His eyes are fixed on the one who has walked every step beside him, the one whose presence transformed silence into hope, despair into life, and weakness into purpose. And then it hits him, this story is no longer just his. Every tear he shed, every fear he faced, every step he hesitated to take is a reflection of someone else's struggle. The mercy he experienced is universal, waiting for those who feel unseen, unheard, or too broken to hope. Jesus is not bound by one life or one moment. He moves in every quiet room, on every dusty road, in every heart that dares to whisper, "God, help me." The man breathes deeply, realizing that the same Jesus who stopped, healed, and called him is walking toward countless others at that very moment. Maybe it is toward a mother exhausted by life's burdens, a student lost in confusion, a father weighed down by failure, or a young person feeling invisible. This is the truth. No story is too broken, no moment too dark, no person too small. When Jesus enters, grace writes endings that no human could plan. He takes another step forward, heart full, spirit light. His journey is not perfect, but it is purposeful. And as the horizon opens before him, it is clear, hope has a face, and hope is walking toward you right now. This is the message for every viewer. No matter where you are, no matter how heavy your heart feels, no matter how far you think you have fallen, Jesus is moving toward you. He stops for you. He listens. He heals. He calls. He restores. Your story is not over, it is only beginning.